have the energy anymore.
Well, I just told her, I said, I think it's smart for you to do for your Nana. I've tried to go that route. I'll just continue to mask when I'm around Nana.
I don't like
we want to welcome everybody. Faces that are familiar and new faces, we welcome you and so tickled that you're here. The first thing that we do when we start all of our meetings is a moment of silent prayer. So if you all will join us. Amen. Roll call. Let it know we have Misty on Zoom, I think, and then Angie's not with us tonight. And then next, Angie, will you read our 14 commitment?
Yes, I will. To improve our effectiveness, the board team for Rockcastle County Schools commits to review processes and experiences to identify and direct improvements, continuously define and work toward long-term goals which serve all students of the district, make each decision based on facts and the best for all students, listen to each other and speak freely, work together, support each other, and not surprise one another. Discuss board deliberations to point of mutually agreeable resolution based on factual information. Support the majority's decision, projecting board unity towards shared goals for continuously improving district-wide student learning. Operate without personal or political agendas. Respect one another. Agree to disagree respectfully. Delegate implementation to the superintendent and education team. And to respectfully remind each other of these commitments.
Thank you, Angie.
You're welcome.
Our second item on the agenda is to adopt the agenda and actions.
Motion?
Our third item is school and community showcase. The first is Rockcastle County Middle School, Mr. Phillips.
You say you want to go over here, Brandon? I won't take too long. I know you all are here to see the kids. So, one thing I would like to say is thank you all for the schedule that we had this year, just having fall break. If you all could just see the staff, the kids, everybody come back refreshed and stuff, that was a much needed break. That was a blessing. So I do want to thank you all for that, first of all. I brought with me some very talented young ladies, and I'm gonna let Miss Smith in a minute just go through and they're gonna talk to you. But Miss Smith and I talked back in the spring, and we had a rocket that was painted on our wall in the middle school cafeteria. It was painted by a former student, Jackson Cromer. But to me, it looked sort of bare, other than that. And I talked to Miss Smith, and I just asked her, I said, I'd like to see more on that wall. I didn't give her no guidance other than I like to showcase activities that we have at the middle school. Because when they come in from elementary to middle school, they really don't know what all we offer. And so I just sort of left it at that and let her run with that. And so she got these talented young ladies together, and they worked on it in the summer diligently. And they did not only that, and I'll let her go through it in a minute, they did that, and they did a relaxation room in our nurses area. You know, our social and emotional health, that's a real big issue right now. You all know that as well as I do. So we actually have in our nurses station a place where kids, if they're having an anxiety attack or really stressed out, you know, they can go in. We have a place, we have actually a lounge chair in there. I thought about going in there a time or two. They have a crash mat. I thought about taking me a nap, but just don't ever seem to make it far enough to be able to get in there. But you know, they did that. They pretty much designed that on their own, if I'm not mistaken. And so, I mean, I'm not an artist by no means. I can come up with ideas sometimes, but I mean, it's amazing what they do. And then I'll let them also share. We have 3 young ladies with us. I have Chelsea Branham. You can come on up. Shannon Eckert and Gracie Peavy. These are 3 of the young ladies, and they worked on this. And I think they're going to talk through a little slide thing here to show you what they've done. And also, Miss Shannon, I don't know if did you bring your book? She actually won a contest last year that Mount Vernon Elementary actually always enters. Have you ever seen Ava brought one home when we were going to Tennessee. She was drawing a picture on the way to Tennessee a couple weeks ago. That's my youngest daughter. And so in that case, Shannon last year, out of about 20,000 people. She got published.
Amazing. Oh,
And so
congratulations.
that, and she got a cash prize and some different things, but she actually was published on this. So we have a published artist among us as well. So. Talk through it then, because they want to hear from you, not me.
I'll be even quicker. My name is Ms. Smith. I'm the arts and humanities teacher at the middle school. And when Mr. Phillips approached me back in the spring about a project like this, I was really excited to have a permanent art installation in the middle school. We do a lot of temporary installations like Veterans Day and things through the year, but this would be permanent. We were so excited. So I knew we wanted to take advantage of our Bravo program, which is the gifted program at the middle school. So all these ladies are in my gifted arts and humanities program. And so those are the kiddos that I invited in. And there was also a really great opportunity to take advantage of, or utilize, I should say, our extended services at the middle school. So we did this during the summer school time frame in the summer. And we connected with Miss Lear. We were sponsored through the Student Services Center for all of our materials. So that was a really great connection with her. And through that connection is where we realized that Miss Lear and Miss Angie Payne and Nurse Dollins had been trying to brainstorm a calming room in the nurses station, which Mr. Phillips mentioned. So we knew, okay, we can pull this all together. This would just be a really great opportunity. So that's what we did. The calming room, when we get to those photos, I do want to say, I asked Nurse Dollins this morning, that room is utilized at least once a week. So it is a really useful space, and it really has made a big impact on our kiddos who need that private place to regulate. And so we're really glad that we were able to do that. All right, so we will take it over. We'll start with Ms. Brown.
This process started with us measuring the dimensions of the wall, finding the center, and using painter's tape to map out the blue and yellow rays. We then painted in the blue and yellow rays to serve as a base layer for the mural. I then drew all the concept art on paper, making sure we were representing all of the student life opportunities at the middle school. We traced my concept art onto transparencies to project onto the base of the mural. Each image was then painted and finished in with a black outline.
So what you see here are, you have to back paint everything. So this was kind of through the stages of back painting in all of the images. Oh. And we see Chelsea here working on some detail work. Here we are all out in front of the finished mural. So we have everything represented, every athletic organization, every extracurricular opportunity, every club, and then some of our individual encore classes as well. So everyone is represented there. The calming room. Can you talk about your concept art?
Okay, so we started out by sketching out ideas on paper, on little sheets of paper for each wall. Gracie did one of the walls and I did the other two. Then we moved on to sketching it out onto the wall, so we painted. Then we started our flat color painting. It took a while.
So this took us a month. So it's 3 weeks of summer school, and then they would come back, some of them would come back different days the week after. So this was a full month-long project. So their theme was like a nighttime in the forest, to be kind of calming and soothing. This is that finished space, and this is the finished space with the lighting. And I really appreciate their parents bringing them back and forth that whole month. Thank you very much.
You did a beautiful job.
You can see why Mr. Phillips wanted to take a nap.
Yeah.
I just haven't taken advantage of that yet.
Alright, so There's the calming room, like I said, Nurse Ellen says this room's utilized at least once a week for kiddos that need that private space to re-regulate. I'm gonna take one more look back at the student life mural. I don't wanna give you a whiplash. Oh, there we go.
And if you have not seen these actually in person, I mean, these look wonderful here, but it is much better in person. If you've not seen them in person, I invite each of you to come by. And so, I mean, we just have so many talented kids within our school. I mean, these are just a few very talented young ladies, and hard work and dedication. There's no telling what they can do in the future. And I wanted to show up because they're making our school brighter and better. And I just wanted to show them off a little bit, you know, just some talent that we have at our school, along with our guidance with Miss Smith here. She's very instrumental. She goes above and beyond for the art program and the band program and the music program. I mean, she just goes above and beyond. I mean, she's there more often than I am, I think. Because I've been there on the weekends and just checking sometimes, and she's there. And so that's what I'm saying. She's there more often than I am sometimes, I believe. But I mean, just to go above and beyond, and that's what these kids have done too, and just amazing. This just shows the caliber of kids that we have at the middle school. And not only just the middle school, but I know we have it district-wide. But these are the caliber of kids that we have at our school right now. And I'm just so proud of them and just the things that they do to make our school that much better.
Thank you all so much for coming, and we're extremely proud of you all. And I want to echo what Mr. Phillips said. If you've not seen this in person, take time to go by the middle school and check it out, because it's really amazing when you see it in person. So
we can check out the calming room together.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
That was great.
Thank you all so much. We enjoy having students join us, so that was a treat. Next, Mr. Clark, a little bit about an energy project update.
thank you all so much.
Through that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Thank you.
So I just wanted to update you guys on a couple things. First, what work we did on fall break, and then secondly, I want to talk about the energy kiosk at the solar energy kiosk at the high school. So I'm gonna go down to the pictures because that's the best part. So here's our old fluid cooler at Mount Vernon. That's the one that's been there for 30 years. As you can see, it was deteriorated pretty bad. That was the source of many of my sleepless nights. As soon as that new one went through the roof, I slept good that night, that very night. That's the real truth. We worked on that thing, and we were very afraid that it was going to fail before we got it changed. And in fact, some of the maintenance guys, they spent weekends. It was resetting itself every single day, but somehow we made it. Very thankfully, very blessed that we did. Here is our new fluid cooler. It is almost an identical carbon copy to our old fluid cooler, because this installation is one of the very few that the fluid cooler resides inside the building. That's something that they did in the late 80s, early 90s when this school was built. That was an architectural engineering type thing that they decided was a good idea. And luckily enough, Baltimore Air Cool is still in business, and they built us the exact same fluid cooler to go back. But we went back with a little bit different setup on the chemical delivery, and we got that nice stand there. It's going to house our chemicals. The fellow that does that for us, I think his family's had a little bit of maybe a COVID issue, so he's not been back yet, but everything's still doing okay. That's not a major priority. So here are a few of the pictures from construction. That picture is when the crane was about to pick it out. This one is the crane actually picking the old one out. Fall break was a great time to do this too. The weather was good for those guys. It looked like it was going to rain all week, but it ended up being. There's the new fluid cooler on the semi truck coming in. They just picked it right off the crane, stuffed it in there, and they got it all going today. That's the rooftop view of the louvers. Everything's gonna be nice and new and all cleaned up, good to go. Very thankful to get that done. You guys got any questions over that? Yep, it's awesome. This has been a really good project. I'm glad that you guys chose to do it. All right, so here is the kiosk that's at the high school on the television when you go in the foyer. It shows the solar output and some different things. So if you look at the top, the peak power, 98.8 kWp, that's the potential of 1 hour of our solar panels. It can make 98.8 kilowatts of power in 1 hour. That's peak performance. Probably, we've been over 90 several days, but as the sun, the angle of the sun goes down in the fall, you kind of lose a little bit because it reflects off. So if you look on down there, current power 0, it says energy today was 60. The energy this month is 3.65 megawatts. And the lifetime energy of the panel is almost 14 megawatts. And I did some rough calculation on 14 megawatts. That's roughly about $1,500 worth of energy that we've already saved in 5 weeks, 5, 6 weeks. So that's quite a bit. If you look over on the right, the environmental benefits, 21,615 pounds of carbon and 163 trees planted. So not only are we saving a little bit of money, we're doing the environment a favor. So I've been very, very pleased with that and how it's worked, and I think it's going to help our efficiency, and it's kind of a neat project for the high school kids too, and maybe some of the other students will take a field trip out there and take a look at that. Pretty cool stuff. That's about all I've got, unless you guys got questions.
I just want to echo what you said, Trent, because we've been so happy with the performance from CMTA and the work that they've done, and they've been so easy to work with, and I know Trent is working with them daily and can second that, but that was a very, very good choice for us to go with, working with that company, and we've been very, very pleased.
Yeah, they're actually changing out the water heater at Mount Vernon and kind of finishing up that mechanical project over there right now. It's kind of something that didn't get done over fall break, and they've done that as night work to not disrupt.
CMTA is a very reputable company.
That's sure right. They've been around a long time.
Is that who done our first project, or is that just who did this project?
That's only this project.
Only this
The
project.
energy project, the whole energy project they're doing. Yeah.
They've done all the lighting.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Clark. All right, item 4 is operations and actions. If anybody doesn't have anything, we need to make a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second?
Everybody?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Misty vote.
Misty, did you vote? Could you hear me?
I can hear, but I can't see anything. And I don't have to, but I don't know if that matters. I just see a V for Brandon.
Oh. We were voting.
Oh, yeah, there you are.
We were voting on operations and actions.
Yes.
Okay. Do you approve or make a motion? Or?
Yes.
Okay. All right, then item 5 is discussion and action, and A is review, approve, purchase of 3 new buses. Mr. Hopkins.
So this request is for the purchase of 3 new school buses for next school year. They will be 72 passenger buses, 2 of them Bluebird and 1 of them from Thomas. The reason for a different company is just we've never purchased a bus through Thomas. Mechanics feel like that it would be a really good bus to work on, and we thought that, just buying one would maybe give us a chance to try one out, see if we like it, see if drivers like driving it, and give that a try for a year. So this is the request. There's the prices. Got any questions?
I'm just going to show my ignorance for a second. I assume this is a common thing that has to happen every so often, correct?
Yes.
That's just
Yes.
my ignorance.
We do the purchase is done in, we get approval in October. Orders have to be placed by the 1st of November. We get a better price by everybody in the state ordering at the same time. I don't know if it's as big a discount now as it maybe was in the past, but that's just kind of how the system works. This is it will be for June delivery.
Okay, thank you.
And in the process of replenishing buses, you really should keep them 14 years, and because you've gotten all you're going to get back from the state because you get reimbursed for school bus purchases, and really above 10 years you get more than what you paid for.
And so does this replace, or is this like an additional, like will it replace some of our older buses?
It will
Okay,
replace.
that's what I figured.
I'll cycle out,
So same like
hopefully,
you're saying.
when we'll sell 3. At this point, they're spare buses. The ones that
Yeah.
we will be selling are spare buses, but
How many spare do we keep all the time? Like if something was to happen, then do we keep a couple of those?
oh yeah, we have 61 buses total, 44 routes.
Okay.
So we have like 17 spares. Some small buses, we still got a few small buses because we have a few small routes. We have a couple special needs handicap buses. We have a couple of our actual spare buses that we try not to use. They're not good, but they are there if we needed them in an emergency situation. So yeah, 14 years is the key number. That's what we're trying to get to. We prefer not to have any daily route buses past that point because we're not getting any money for them. Any maintenance we have to do on those buses is all on us. I think this year we have 3 daily route buses. They're out of depreciation. So this will, we'll kind of take those places.
Yeah. Thank you.
And our recommended is to purchase 3 per year.
Okay.
That's our recommended through the state is to purchase 3 per year.
Thank you.
Mr. Hopkins, I'm gonna ask again or talk about the 72 passengers.
Sure.
Look, and this is probably the last time that I'll mention this.
That's all right.
But in your observations in school, I mean, when they pull up, and because I would have an opinion, and of course I'll have to look at see that, but how many kids are on those 72 passenger buses?
Obviously, it varies from route to route.
Right.
To get 72 on a bus, you have to have 3 per seat. That's how you would get to that number. The most is probably in the 60 range.
Well, and I'd say this, if you've got 60-something kids on those 72 passenger buses, you've got a pretty good load.
It's full.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm surprised if we have a lot of 72 passengers that have 60-something kids. I mean, with parents that transport in the whole gamut. That says nothing other than, of course, my inquiry before about negotiating the roads. It's a little bit longer than the other bus. Nothing other than that. I just, if you observe the buses pulling out here in the afternoon, they look like they're pretty full. And if the bulk of them are, then probably a good process. And I know that typically routes in town, primarily 2 or 3 routes in town, have the majority of the loaded buses. The others are somewhat more sparse, but
For the most part.
just
The-
a comment.
Like, I know Angie, if she's ever seen the one that comes by the hospital,
They just keep on coming off
it is full.
at the
I mean,
hospital. Yeah.
It's probably, there's been some days it's probably been pushing 70. He's told me he's had to put days where he put a middle school or a high school student with 2 elementary school students to get 3. And that's to get everybody a seat. But you're talking about a short distance.
Right.
And most of these are short distances. Now, I will say, and Mr. Grabber can back me up on this, from our attendance standpoint, Broadhead is the one school that if attendance is going up anywhere, it's there. And that's really where I need some of these bigger buses is in Broadhead area, just to give them a little bit more comfort, for one. And the price, I could show you the numbers right here. The price is minimal.
Sure.
I mean, it's average about $500 difference between a 66 passenger and a 72 passenger. And I guarantee if you saw them going down the road, you wouldn't know the difference. You could say, oh, that's a 72. You wouldn't be able to tell.
Right.
You really wouldn't. The one place that does kind of come into play, like at some of the schools where we're side by side, you have to be a little more careful as the driver pulling out because you get a little more tail swing. You just have to make a little more cautious turns.
I just have to say on the bus drivers, it's a pleasure. I know that sounds crazy, but in the mornings, because I go Mount Vernon Elementary, then I go to the middle school, and they're always courteous, they're always waving, they're always friendly. I mean, it's just it's a pleasure. They're just easy to deal with, you know, on the road. And it doesn't have to be
And
that
that's,
way.
no, it's great, and it's good representation for the district.
Oh, yeah,
It is.
yeah.
Excellent.
And they are timely too.
I have a really good bunch, and they try to be. I mean,
Yes.
they really try to be timely, they try to take care of their buses and, come to work every day, and we've been very, very, very fortunate.
Got a good group.
It really is, they really do try hard.
How's your driver, shortage? Is
I'm,
it okay?
I'm, knock on wood, I'm in good shape.
Yay.
As of today, I've had 3 regular sub drivers, that will drive mornings and afternoons, they'll go wherever I need them to, plus some other of us that will kind of fill in as needed. My mechanics are getting ready to go test, so they'll be ready to help out. So, as of today, as of right now, we know that can change quickly.
Right.
But as of now, we're in good shape, we're in a good
Good.
place.
Really good.
I'm very fortunate, and to get to this point, it's taken a lot of work on a lot of people's, the first 6 weeks or so was pretty tough. Mr. Reppert helped me out a whole big bunch, some teachers drove that don't normally drive, drivers made an effort to drive every day, so I have to really give a big thank you to all of them and everybody that helped us to get through these first few weeks, because it was difficult, it really was. But we're in a good place now, so I won't whine or moan or cry anymore.
So I make a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Yep.
All right, the next under that discussion and action is we have review approved monthly financial reports. Ms. Sweet?
You've been provided with our monthly financial reports for the month ending in September. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
Anybody have any questions? Misty, do you have any questions? All right, I need a
No,
motion.
I don't.
I need a motion to approve. Motion? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Then the last under here is review, approve academic interventionist job positioning amendment.
Several months ago, the board approved for us to hire 3 academic interventionists, for our elementary schools. We have been able to fill 2 of those, but we still have not been able to fill the one at Mount Vernon Elementary. When you originally approved it, you approved for an elementary certification to be the requirement for this position. I would like to amend that to also include special education certification, and then we're gonna repost that just to see if we get any further applicants. Just a minor change, but either elementary certification and or special education certification, just to see if we can broaden that a little bit to get more applicants.
So either or, because you can't get anyone,
Exactly.
or haven't been successful.
I have not been successful in getting anyone to fill that.
That leads to another question. As far as staffing overall, do you have any vacancies that you cannot fill, that you could not fill? Of course, I know you had the one here with
Yes.
MSD.
At this point, we've not been able to fill the academic interventionist position, the MSD position at the middle school, and then everything else we've been able to fill. We have done some option 6
Right.
programming, but everything else is filled at this point.
And for Angie, option 6, talk just a little bit about
Yes,
that.
so option 6 is a program that's offered through the Standards Board. And if a teacher has a certification, but it may not necessarily be in that particular area. For instance, they may have a certification, but not a special education certification. If they can enroll in a program, an option 6 program at a university, and the university has to declare that it's an option 6 program,
Okay.
then as soon as they're enrolled in their first class, they're eligible to be hired in that position.
Okay. Kind of like emergency certification
Yeah.
is what people have said in the past, I think.
It's similar to that. They just have to be enrolled in that program. And then we have to receive verification from the university that they're enrolled
Right.
prior to us offering them a position.
Thank you.
And she made me think of something else. Emergency certification. Do we have any of those?
This will be the only one, the one that you approved for
Just this one?
just this
Okay.
one that's emergency
Okay.
certified.
Any other questions?
The only other comment I say on that, looking to the future, looking at where we are. I think it'll be a challenge. I mean, I think it'll be a challenge, and I'm not just talking about here, I'm talking about throughout the state, maybe throughout the nation, to find high-quality teacher candidates for a variety of reasons as we move forward.
Yes.
Tough time.
Motion to approve.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor? All right, so that puts us to item number 6, discuss and review superintendent personnel action report.
Okay, I'll give you just a second to look over that in your Google Drive to see if you have any questions.
No, I'm just happy to see the bus drivers and the cooks on there, both substitute and full-time. I hope you all have gotten good people and applicants.
We've also been able to hire several certified substitutes and classified substitutes, so we're thankful for that as well.
That's great.
And then item 7, department reports. I think those were uploaded.
Yes, you
right?
have your department reports uploaded if you have any questions at all for anyone.
All right, does anybody have any questions for them?
No, I don't.
think so.
Lucy, do you have any questions on the, okay. And then, number 8, superintendent communication.
Several things I wanted to fill you in on. We had our first LPC meeting last night. Ms. Anna was a part of that. The architect has sent off our draft district facilities plan showing the amendment from renovation to new construction for the middle school that was sent to KDE today. We will have our second LPC meeting next Monday. That will be advertised in the Mount Vernon Signal again this week and also advertised on our district website. We will need to have a special called board meeting on the 19th in order to approve that district facilities plan, in order to send it to KDE for approval to schedule the public meeting. I wanted us to discuss the time that you all would like to do that, if you want to do it during the day and do a Google Meet or Zoom call, or if you would prefer to come in person in the evening. That's just according to what best suits your schedules. And I know Mr. Hammond, you had a conflict. Is
Yeah,
that?
I cannot come at 6. It'd have to be before 6 o'clock. And I can't come in person. It'd have to be.
Okay. If
I participate, which, wouldn't necessarily have to participate.
It's kind of like our other so quick.
Yeah, it'll just be a quick. The district facilities plan basically it just reads that it'll be a middle school at a site to be determined. I mean, it's a 1-sentence change in the amendment. It's very simple. Once KDE may send us suggestions, but that will go through the LPC and then we'll approve whatever that they vote on that evening.
Then has it been noon meetings we've been good? Those have been good for me. I'm good either way. I don't know if that's good for you all.
Does that work for you?
Just don't let me
Yes.
just don't let it get past me.
Is that good?
Lucy, is that okay with you?
Are you talking about the one on the 19th?
Yeah,
Yes.
doing like a Zoom at noon.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
Would that work for you, Mr. Hammond?
Sure.
Okay.
And with that, with the intent of changing from renovation to a new building itself, would you share with us the conversation that's been had in relation to, of course, you've already said a site to be determined. What discussion has happened thus far on the old building?
Basically very limited discussion because we've been focused on changing the district facilities plan to show the new construction in order to be able to try to secure funding. So prior to us trying to secure funding, I don't know that we can really begin to have those conversations until we're able to have a dollar amount of what we're going to be able to deal with. I know there's been several suggestions of trying to do something with the old building to maintain the gymnasium, to see if there's something that we could incorporate in with a new school. So we've made the architect aware of that yesterday when we met with her. So just some preliminary, very, very preliminary, but until we know how much funding we secure, it's very difficult to make a decision about how we would proceed.
Because, and I'm glad you mentioned the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I've made the comment to a few people, given the fact that, well, even if we had the same number that we had 10 years ago, but our population has declined and is declining. The size of a gym for that number of students in the middle school would be about equivalent to Mount Vernon Elementary or Broadhead. Maybe, and I'm stretching it a little, but it will be nothing in
compared to
comparison to
what
what's
we
that.
have, yes.
But then, again, that would be a consideration for me in it too. Utility costs. I mean, if we're looking at doing a new building and maintaining that building, before we ever get there, I really think we ought to be talking about utility costs. I think we ought to have a plan, an intact plan for that old building if we're going to go the new building route, because could be a dead expense. And I would suspect that building will be left for the district to do something with, not the county, not some other organization, and for the district to maintain that, looking at where the district is financially and where it is going, where it's been traveling. I'm gonna stop it at that today, but I mean, I think that's serious conversation.
No doubt.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to clarify that you've asked about before, the cost to renovate that was on the facility plan
Mm-hmm.
at 15 million some odd dollars.
Yeah, I think so.
That cost is not even close to accurate. I'm sure if you're familiar with the K-Fix assessment that we did back in 2018, 2019. When you go back and you look at that and you look at the middle school and you add in the 20% fees, the fringe fees for architects, engineers, bonding, all that, you're looking at about $28.5 million to renovate that school. And building a new school is cheaper than that.
Well, and I'm not going to say that that's wrong. I mean, I'm not arguing that.
And that's at the 2018 dollar amount, not the 2021 square footage either. So that's going to add some more cost to it.
But that still does not remove the fact that if that building's sitting there, and we need to look at the utility costs, because if renovation was 35 million and in not too many years you would go broke because you're maintaining a building that you don't need.
I don't think we could ever maintain that whole building. That building is the biggest user of utilities.
Sure it is.
In the county. I mean, we know that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we've upgraded a little bit, it's still going to be the hog.
Sure.
So, I mean, you couldn't maintain it all. You'd have to change the building envelope. You'd have to change the HVAC system, the way it worked. But there are options. I mean, there's options. There's a lot of options, and that's, if we get money, then we can talk about options.
I'm gonna stop for today. I mean, because that's a major concern to me.
So we may know more next meeting.
Yes, after we get through this process, then we'll definitely begin to discuss sites and the details around that. The second thing I wanted to talk about is advertisement of the board vacancy. That advertisement ran in the Mount Vernon Signal on the 7th. It will be in the paper again on the 14th. We will need to review applicants for the position after the 21st. That will be in the 2-week timeline that must be advertised. In order to meet our 60-day timeline, we need to make a selection by November the 18th. So we can shoot for our November board meeting of making a selection. And at this point, we've not received any applications for the board seat, but if we begin to receive those, I'll make certain that you all are aware. Also, it is National School Lunch Week. I just want to give a shout out to all of our food service staff and Miss Jamie for the work that they've done, not only through COVID, but in years past. I mean, our food service staff really are, the heroes of the day, and I can't speak highly enough for everything that they do. In Rockcastle County, our food service staff within 1 month serves 30,000 breakfasts and 40,000 lunches. That's really remarkable work, and they just do it so well, and Miss Jamie makes everything look easy, and I know it's not easy, but she just is able to deliver so well, and we appreciate you, Miss Jamie, and your staff. Thank you.
I'll pass that along to the others as well.
Yeah, please do. Also, next week is National School Safety Week. We will be celebrating that district-wide by by encouraging our staff members and our students to take the Safety Star Pledge, which is something that's part of the Center for School Safety, a promotion that they're doing just to put attention on the importance of school safety. So I'd like to encourage everybody here, all of you, to go on the Kentucky Center for School Safety website, and I will be happy to send you all a link that you could go on and take the pledge and just to show our commitment to school safety. So I'll send you all a link to that tomorrow.
Ms. Bellinger, it is on my department notes, that link is in there as well, so if you all look at that, you put it
Great.
in.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ruppert. And I think we're going to do something on Friday to promote that as a district, so, and try to get that out. So hopefully we can get our schools to jump on board and make this a great week next week to celebrate that. And that's all that I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Okay, so next item, number 9, is board comments. Mr. Hammond?
Good job on this agenda.
You stole my thunder.
And I will say this, since Angie's not here, we might know what the holdup then, you know.
Say that. Not what I was gonna say.
Be sure you either pass that along or have her watch the video.
You'll expect your text or call later.
Yeah. I don't have anything.
No, I just want to advocate for new middle school, and I know you're kind of just helping us along the way, but I do think it's a very important thing. And if we can, maintain some of the integrity of the old building, that I think is important. I want people to keep that momentum going. So I just want to say that, and just how great the school is, school system. Hopefully we're on the downhill slide for some nasty stuff.
Hopefully.
I will, Miss Ina, there was one thing that I failed to mention. I did want to make certain that you all knew that our test to stay program has been very, very successful. We're seeing great results from that. Mr. Ruppert, you want to just talk just very briefly about how many students we have tested?
We've tested about 270 at this point. This week we haven't tested many. Obviously coming back from fall break, we didn't have as many school quarantines. We did have 2 yesterday tests, and we had 6 today. Now, out of that, unfortunately, we did have a couple positives. We'd only had 3 positives up to this point, so that's 5 positives in around 270 tests. Of course, that's students test 5 days, so it's not individual students, it's tests. But it has been very successful. It's helped us with staff. It's helped us with substitutes. We've had bus drivers, we've had cooks, we've had instructional assistants, we've had teachers that have come, and of course a lot of students too. So it has been very successful, and we hope we are on that. What's that?
Has it been a smooth process, like them getting through and back out and going?
It has. We had one day that it was pouring the rain. I was there at 6:30 a.m. We had over 50 people there that day. That was on Thursday or Friday. It was pretty miserable. That might have been a Monday. I can't remember. It was before fall break. That was a rough day. We've got 2 folks from Ethos Labs there, and then there was me, and then we've got another staff member that's there. Since that time, though, that we've averaged about 15 a day, so that's manageable, 7 to 10. But when you have 50 that came primarily between 7:30 and 8:15, and it was pouring rain, it was logistically it was difficult that day. So, but outside of that, it's worked very well.
Our quarantines are definitely decreasing. As of this afternoon, we had 40 students quarantined and 15 positive students in the district, two staff members that are quarantined and 2 staff members that are positive. So really making some good strides and showing some great improvement in that area. Really thankful for that. Our attendance is improving. Several of our schools, our attendance is back to pre-COVID numbers. So just really thankful that we're showing that improvement district-wide.
Just a quick shout out too, I think it's homecoming this week.
Yes, so encourage everybody to come out and support the Rockets, and they know that they have lots. The student council has worked tirelessly on planning, and they've got a lot of special events planned for Friday night, so encourage everybody to come out and support them.
And Rockcastle County alumni get us sticker.
Yes, the first,
No.
the first, is it 50? Is that, anybody, is that what JD told us?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Maybe put it
first
in there. I don't know.
number through the door, Rockcastle County alumni get a car decal, so
Cool.
come in and
Be early.
be early and support the Rockets.
Look, thinking about, and that's great, it sounds, I'm gonna come back to the COVID numbers. Do you think, because I'm basing this question on what I'm doing with myself in another location, do you anticipate an increase as a result of fall break a little bit next week, or what would you speculate on that, or do you have any thoughts?
I'm almost afraid to speculate. I'm hopeful that we won't, but I'm a little bit nervous that we will. I'll kind of leave it at that. I mean, I know a lot of our families traveled,
Right.
and you know, I'm hopeful that we'll maintain these low numbers, but just a little bit nervous about it.
Historically, I think, you know, it happens,
Right.
you know, in any kind of stay out of school.
But
We are continuing to see some decline though in our incident rate in the
But I think
county,
it's
so.
declining everywhere,
Mhm.
so hopefully, with that being said, we won't have that big influx.
no, I mean, I think it's diminishing. We may have a little bump in the road, but as a result of travel.
Yeah, I think so.
Misty, do you have anything you wanna add?
No, I'm good, thank you, Anna.
You're welcome. We're glad you could be here through Zoom.
Thank you.
I just wanna say thank you to all of you all. You continue to, work hard on all that you give us and our kids, and that's much appreciated. And if nobody has anything else, I need a motion to dismiss, adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
That one.
All in favor?
Yes.